Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing well. So, straight into boxing. Whether you like him or hate him, I think most people will agree that Jarrell Big Baby Miller definitely gives an interesting, an articulate, and an eminently quotable interview. And he's been giving interviews to all the big channels that have access out in Riyadh in the last couple of days, I suppose. And but I mean big channels. I mean, of course, your usuals, IFL, Stomping Ground, etc. I think he's probably spoken to them all. So this is a sort of a distillation, if you like, of Big Baby Speaks or Big Baby Trashes Carl Froch, Anthony Joshua, British judging, you name it. The large man does not hold back. He also, of course, gives a very healthy dose of criticism towards Mr. Salita, with whom he's been engaged in legal issues for a while. I think at one point he refers to Mr. Salita in the same way that a person is somewhat derogatorily referred to, and the word begins with C, and it's in relation to female genitalia. So anyhow, clearly he doesn't hold Mr. Salita in high regard. On that note, he says, Big Baby, that he's starting his own promotional company thing, and that's clearly important to him. He was asked in one of the interviews that I saw to expand upon why he withdrew from the Fabio Wardley fight. As you know, Fabio Wardley was initially scheduled to fight Big Baby Miller at Ipswich, and just as soon he came in as not exactly a last-minute replacement, but as a replacement, and performed really commendably. But I think many of us would have had fun watching Big Baby Miller and Fabio Wardley. Quite frankly, if I might be so bold, I think Fabio Wardley, as it happens, would have preferred his opponent to have been Big Baby Miller. Anyhow, he said that, Big Baby Miller, said, he had issues to deal with. He knew he would get no favors from judges. And he said sometimes, you shouldn't sell yourself for the dollar. So it sounds like he needed to take time really to focus on stuff that was going on. He said he didn't think he'd be 100%. He said that he's tired of being short notice type fighter, even though I didn't think he had been short notice. He spoke about how he was short notice against Dubois. If he'd been full notice, he would have beaten Dubois, and look where Dubois is now. So he said sometimes you've got to, step back and look at what's best for you. And on that note, he said he's very supportive of the other big baby, Gerard Anderson. But he said, on that note of stepping back and seeing where you are, don't fight AJ. It's being talked that AJ and Gerard Anderson are going to fight as a sort of a warm-up fight for AJ. But he said, no, don't take that fight. You're young, get some more hard sparring in, learn some other things. He even offered to help him. He said, we're both Americans. Obviously, they don't get along very much. I think there's a bit of a brouhaha over the shared nickname. But he said, Anderson is too much of a tune-up for AJ. He said they're both mental, and one is super mental, and the younger one. Like, Miller really doesn't like AJ. He thinks he's mental, but he also thinks that Gerard Anderson is slightly more mental. By mental, I mean mentally damaged in that they're not fight ready, not suggesting any other sort of ailment. What else did Big Baby say? Oh, he said a lot, and I encourage you to go and look at the full interviews. They're quite long, so this is a brief synopsis. He said that Carl Froch is a hater and a cornball, a sort of tired, somewhat boring stuff, right? He also said that Carl Froch was somebody else who could fellate him. He didn't use the word fellate, just for those who are curious. But he agreed with Carl Froch that AJ is mostly done. He said that it's AJ's decision, but he probably still has a couple more fights in him. On AJ, he said he was glad that Dubois KO'd AJ, but he also said that the ref gave AJ every opportunity, the home cooking, the A-side sort of thing. He said that the UK is known for stopping fights early, alluding to bad things happening in the ring in the UK. He really doesn't have a big time for the UK. He said Hooney was ripped off. He said, what happened to that standing eight, how Fury and AJ are given tons of time because they're favoured, but the less favoured person isn't. And that's where he was sort of going, I suppose, with his comments about Dubois, and AJ being given tons and tons of time. Because clearly, on the night that Dubois beat AJ was the A-side fighter. He said, AJ is a pussy. He said he can, I'm going to quote this, he can lick my hairy black nuts. So, end of quote. And he said 90% of Americans think that AJ is also a pussy. So yes, he really doesn't think of AJ in particularly high regard. I think we knew that. When he was asked, and I think this was a question from the Stomping Ground, who he wanted to fight next, he said he would like to fight AJ. Well, clearly. They don't like each other. I don't think AJ has a lot of time for Mr. Miller either, to be honest. So I don't think the hairy nuts comment will come as any form of surprise. He said he would like to fight AJ. He said he would like to fight Dubois and Usyk. He thinks Dubois and Usyk is a 50-50 fight, but he's rooting for Dubois. He would like to have he seems he likes Dubois. Like he's very much a Dubois. He's Team Dubois in this. And I think I mentioned already how much he had slammed Mr. Salita. Yes, I suspect that there's no love lost there. Anyhow, there's a sort of a 8-minute sort of synopsis of various Big Baby Miller interviews that he's given recently. Entertaining as all get out of town. The man has a gift for language, and he has a very unique delivery style, so we leave it at that. Thanks so much for watching. I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. Please, of course, like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. I do appreciate that. See you next time. Thanks for watching.